No law or set of laws can prevent every senseless act of violence in this country. When a child opens fire on another child, there is a hole in that child's heart that government can't fill. Only community and parents and teachers and clergy can fill that hole. There's no more important ingredient for success. Nothing that would be more important for us reducing violence than strong, stable families. Which means we should do more to promote marriage and encourage fatherhood.
Stay in your place. There's a place for everybody. Each and every one of us has a place in life, our life and life in general. We as grown men, we've been through things. We've taken our L's. We've misunderstood. We've been misunderstood. We've dropped the ball. We've hit some winning shots. But when you young like these dudes are, they try and jump from being 18 to dealing with somebody that's 55 years old. It's a whole gap, man. It's a whole generation in between you and I. There's things I know that I can get to faster than you'll ever be able to, and you got all the speed in the world. It's like being the hare and the tortoise. OG don't move fast no more. OG know how to move correctly.
That's
it
right there.
That's it.
With the right information.
The right information. So do your self a justice and stay in your place, and you're gonna be fine. Don't put yourself in those situations dealing with grown men disrespectfully. Because I've seen it go real bad for a lot of young dudes. Then their pride is hurt. Then their ego hurt. Then they want to go get a gun. That's a whole nother level of reactionary thinking that could put you away and take you away for the rest of your life. This is a part of the game that y'all don't understand. You didn't understand that it was a difference between me and you. You 18, I'm 55. You don't understand that there's a lot of things in between there that you need to touch on before you can even be. By the time you get to 35 or 40, we could probably talk. But in between there, 18 to 30, that's a whole nother learning. And some of them don't even make it through that. Some of them don't even achieve that 31, 32, that next level. Because once you pass your 30s, you've experienced a few things. You've had an opportunity to lose and win. And understand that your loss is your loss. It ain't a team loss. There's a difference between it being a Roger Federer loss and a LeBron James loss.
And you got to know how to take your L.
You got to. If Roger Federer keep blowing his serve, it's different from LeBron missing a free throw. LeBron missed a free throw, he blow the game for the team. Roger Federer blow a serve, he blew it for him. He lost. See what I'm saying? Don't make it where it's you blew it for the team. Your team meaning your family. Your kids, or if you got them. Kids is having kids. I was a product of that. But don't blow it for your team not being there. You dead. You in jail because you was reactionary and you didn't understand you was out of pocket and out of place and not in your lane, doing something that you ain't had no business doing, not thinking properly.
You ain't think first.
You didn't think first. right. You gotta stop listening to the older dudes on sports media. They say, man, stay off the internet. Stop listening to all the him and Kevin Durant. LeBron James and Kevin Durant are the most reactionary people to social media. Two of the bigger stars in the NBA, and you can tell they were both raised without a father. You can tell that. And they haven't matured yet because they've been put in a position where everybody cheers for them and tells them that they're the greatest. And don't make them look at their flaws. You can't run from your problems, KD. You can't run everything because you got all the money, LeBron.
Come on now.
With me, when I was growing up, when I first started to make some money, I started feeling myself because I had never really, I had made it past the goals that I accomplished. I made it. You feel me? But when I got to the shop, shout out to Kenny's Barbershop once again. I thought I was the man. I went in there and worked with him. I was humble, but I still had that. When I started working with him, I was like, ooh, this dude. But that was what I wanted to do. That is what I wanted to know. So I started to just suck it up. As opposed to me letting it hit me, I put that force field up like I'm the man. I can't learn nothing. I didn't put the force field up. I dropped that mug completely to my toes. You feel me? And I let every fiber of him, whether I liked it or not, whatever I didn't like about what he was doing, I made it. I knew what he was doing so that I could practice it to make it good for me. Now, I got that together, and then I started having issues. I left there, went to another spot, went to another spot, went to another spot. I was everywhere for at least 9 months to a year. And then finally I just said, I want to do my own thing. And when I got the opportunity, I was like so ecstatic. And I said, I don't know what this is going to bring. I said, but I'm going to get out here and I'm going to try my dangest. I said, I'm not going to fail. Even when I wanted to give up, I didn't, because I always remembered what the actual end result was, not knowing what the end result really was. But what I knew is I wasn't going to quit on something that I prayed for. So I just kept on. And I mean, I literally would work 24/7 and just kept piling up the miles, piling up the years, piling up the miles, piling up the years, piling up the cuts until I got to that point. Now, when I got to that point where I was like, I never felt like I was better than anybody. I just kind of got in my zone. And people, when you get in your zone, people will think because you don't say a lot or you don't hang with the same people no more, you think you better than them. No, I'm trying to stay out the way. I'm trying to stay out the way because what that brings a whole element, another element of envy and hatred and different things of that matter, things you can't control. I remember going into a party one time. I was by myself, and one of my guys was at the party, but I got there and I pulled up and I see all the cars, and I'm like, this don't look right. But I told him I was gonna come, so then there wasn't no cell phones in. You feel me? So I parked my car around the corner on the street, on the street behind the alley. This is me thinking. I said, I walk up on the porch. I say, yo, is Diesel here? They say, yeah, he's somewhere in there. So I go in, walk through. He in the dining room part of it. He partying, got him a little drink. And I was like, what's up, man? He was like, what's happening, man? He said, hey, man, get you some food. I was like, all right. So I seen the liquor was in the kitchen. You go from the living room to the dining room to the kitchen. And then it was like a back porch. I hit that back porch. I was out of there. You have to use that discernment. Some say, man, it ain't for me. You can't let people put you in situations. So I stopped hanging with a lot of dudes. My friends had to come see me. You know where I'm at. You come get a cut. We can chop it up there. We can even have a beer. You're not going to get me over in no personal parties and stuff like that no more.
Yeah.
And he called me the next morning. He had got to the crib. He said, man, you know, they started shooting. Because he asked, he said, man, where you go? He said, I thought something happened to you, man. He said, because I didn't see you no more. I said, bro, I'm going to keep you 100. That wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I went out the back door. You feel me?
Got got
real small. But I'm with you, and that's the way I look at having access to these young people now. I feel like that's the next stage of where God has moved me to. I don't think I don't think God would take me out of what I'm doing to put me somewhere where He's not gonna allow me to do something greater.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes we can get stuck in where we're at, and then not necessarily to do some good, do some change. And you know, I want to do my own school, but I feel like guys like you know, you never had any formal training, so you need to be involved with that. But in the meantime, this is double duty for you. I have two things I'm ordaining you to do. I need you to go in there and learn, so I can bless you, I can manifest you. But I also need you to go in and take care of these young people. Some of these people through this will respect you and will know that you coming at them with love. And when I hit the young man off with what I told him, I asked God, I said, was I wrong for that? And I got the feeling of, no, this is what I called you to do. I'm gonna protect you. You may have went a little, you may have taken the greater approach, but that was what was necessary for that particular person. Because sometimes you can piddle pat around with somebody and lose them in the process. Everything I say this, we got to start really looking at ourselves and asking ourselves, are we really being real with ourselves? Men, are you really being real with yourselves? You feel me? Or are you presenting a false presentation, something that people can't go fact check about you? Because if people really had the opportunity to go fact check about the vast majority of us, they'll find out the vast majority of our life is propaganda. It's put together and it's pieced together. It's not real. There's places in our lives where things aren't as clear when we kids. But as you grow up and start to develop, you know better. You know what to do, what not to do. So you can't use that, well, I didn't know. You did it because you were doing something you had no business doing. You did it because you thought that you were tough. Social media gave you a tough mindset. They gave you a tough mindset. That's all. When you dig into a hard head, you always find a soft heart under there. How many people have you seen that had that tough man's complex? They go to jail, they find God. Find God out here before you go there. You take your tough mentality in there and get turned into a Christian or whatever, because some people go there for different reasons. Turn your reel on now
while you have a chance.
While you got a chance. Don't wait to have to go to jail to find God. Find God out here at your own leisure. Go sit somewhere and listen to somebody. Be real with yourself.
Because all you got is 24 hours in the day. If you woke up now,
it's the same 24 hours. The same 24 hours, man. You feel me? And it starts at different times in different places. But in all retrospect, that's all we got every day. And some of these people blow it every day. They blow that 24 hours because they ain't did anything positive within that 24 hours. Either they smoking, fornicating, clowning, tripping, whatever.
Like tomorrow's promise. Like it's guaranteed. I'm guaranteeing you.
It's so many times
I'm gonna wake up tomorrow.
So many times, man, I think to myself, man, you know, will I make it? That's a humble way of thinking about life. You can't just be like, yeah, I'm gonna get up tomorrow and no, man, will I make it? Everybody got a check in that book. Only God knows where your check is. initially, when I first became a father, it was traumatic. You feel me? I was young, and I didn't have any answers for fatherhood, period, because I had no father. So, when I say that, I mean that literally, no father. I've never met him before, and a lot of people may have heard it just by sitting in the chair and sharing with me, but never met him before. So that affected me growing up, and as I grew, the things I used to think when certain things wouldn't transpire, I would see my brothers leave and go with their fathers for periods of time, and it stung. You know what I mean? But I let that be the motivation for me to say, at some point, I don't know when it was, but I said, when I'm a father, when I become a parent, or when I become a father, not just a parent but a father, you have to take that personal. You feel me? I said, when I become a father, I'm gonna be better than whoever assisted in creating me. So when that did happen, I had to suck that up. I didn't know whether to run. Be honest with you, I was just young. I didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? I didn't know whether to run or just stick around. But I couldn't see myself. I said, that's a trait of somebody I don't want to be. That's a characteristic I don't want to have. And we control our own characteristics. People say certain things are passed down from parent to child. That was one thing I could control. You see what I'm saying? So when I heard that initially, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But then something kicked in, and it said, you know what to do. Not be like that person was to you. You see what I'm saying? So I gathered myself, and you know what I mean? I said, I don't know what type of ride I'm gonna be on. I said, I'm with it though. And I said, I'm never going to leave this young lady and leave her high and dry like I was left. But as I ventured into the beginning of fatherhood, the one thing I found was it was hard to part ways, especially with a young lady. Little girls are treasures. You feel me? Unlike anything that because you're going to take care of them. You're going to defend them. You're going to bless them with your presence and give them what you want them to have as they move forward in life, as opposed to them feeling like they just have to find love from somewhere else. That's the one thing that I strive to do. Now, there's a few things that I would say to any young person that may be in that position. Think about it. Think about the way you grew up. Think about whether or not your father was around. You know, mothers, there are some mothers that have slid out. I got a couple of friends that have custody of their kids, but mothers, for the most part, they feel that obligation. And for some reason, some of us as men, we don't feel that obligation. But it's because our obligation really, in a sense, is to us. We wanna satisfy our, well, what if I didn't get to do this? Because, well, we have to look back. We make the mistakes and we know better. We make the mistakes, and then we don't want to stay around to try to correct them. Now, in any instance, it takes two people in any situation. It takes two people to create and conceive, and it takes two people. How do you think you could take two people to conceive and one person to actually raise? It's not possible. And even if you're not there in a sense of in a relationship, you should always have a common communication. You should always have something where you can sit down with the other person involved, the mother, and formulate a plan that will assist you guys in making better decisions when it pertains to the kid. Now, unfortunately, for me, I was married to my oldest daughter's mother, and she's a wonderful person at this particular stage in life. But we both had issues. You know, she's a bit older than me, but I didn't know. And those are the things, you don't know about people. You get caught up in a body and not the person. And a lot of us, you feel me, that's what we get caught up in. We get caught up in a specific part of one of these young ladies that we lust, not necessarily desire wholeheartedly. We lust them, and we let that pull us in and we kind of lose our mind. But what happens after that is something that we can't control, because a lot of us, we don't have healthy relationships. And when we don't have healthy relationships, we build a we build upon an unhealthy relationship, and that grows, because if you have a healthy relationship, that grows, that becomes healthier and healthier and healthier. Of course, any situation has its inner, dynamics, that sometimes things get off a little bit, but you get back on because the relationship is healthy. A healthy body recovers faster than a body that is not so healthy. So relationships are the same way. And if you have an unhealthy relationship from the jump, 9 times out of 10, once you get to that point in a relationship where you feel like it's just, oh man, I can't stand this woman. I got to that point, but I had to understand I was a part of the problem. So when we decided to divorce, I said to myself, I'm not going anywhere when it comes to my daughter. I'm going to stay here. I had opportunities to go back home to Nashville, open up a shop in Nashville with my cousins. And I said, I thought about it heavily, because I got people there that were like, they ready to, you feel me? Let's do it. But God said, hey man, you can do that here. You can do that here. And you can be in control of your own situation when it comes to you, what you want to do, your daughter. You'll be there to raise her. And so here I am, still here. My daughter is well into her 30s. But raising her was probably the best thing for me, because I call her the blueprint. So remember that. Remember that, single fathers. Remember that first child is the blueprint. Even if you didn't know what you was doing, but somehow or another you come to that point where you get it together and you become successful in that relationship with your child, whether it be a male or a female. That child is the blueprint.